Hello, thank you for doing the interview today. Who are you and what's your job title?
I am Elizabeth. My job title is, armor stand extraordinaire and architect. My specialties are armor stand sculptures and custom headwork, as well as just generally building pretty buildings, I guess.
Cool, and where are we?
We are in the Tower of Terror, which is in Disney's California Adventure here on Scar World Season 2.
And what have you done here?
Well, a whole lot of armor stand work for starters. I did a whole lot of armor stand work and custom headwork for the interior here in the lobby, as well as a lot of other bits and bobs around the ride. Turned out pretty darn well, I'd say.
And why did you make this thing?
Well, I originally made the entire Tower of Terror act as a skin for an iron farm. You see, I was planning to build Disneyland, but I decided to start with an iron farm because I would need iron for a whole lot of things all over Disneyland. But I ended up building the Tower of Terror just a little too big, because I based the entire scale of the thing off of the Hollywood Tower Hotel sign. And so the thing ended up probably being about 3 times the size of what it needed to be, and ended up taking up the first few months of building here on Scar World. It got a little out of hand, and eventually I ended up moving the iron farm out of the Tower of Terror anyway, to make room for the redstone that makes this ride work.
What's your favorite part?
Ooh, I think my favorite part has got to be when I see people ride the ride for the very first time. A lot of people are, of course, very mystified by the redstone that we've got going on, or when they first walk into the lobby and see either the dragon or the owl.
Tell me more about the owl.
So the owl itself was made out of about 130 armor stands total. And most of those are holding little tiny blackstone pressure plates that make up the wings of the owl. And then there's also quite a lot of decoration along the sides to make a little round platform for it as well. And the smaller dragon on the table by the window is another big armor stand project for me. We actually did that one before the owl. And it was also quite a lot of little details, a lot of armor stands put together. I'm not sure exactly how many I used on this one, but it turned out super cute. There's a lot of basalt for that one. There's a basalt block placed onto an armor stand's head for the base, and then a lot of small armor stands holding basalt blocks for the body of the dragon and the neck. It took a whole lot of effort, but it turned out so good, and I'm really proud of it.
Could you tell me about the famous person who commented on it?
Yeah, so I actually tweeted a picture of the little armor stand table dragon at Zombie Cleo, the queen of armor stands, and she really liked it and sent a comment in response. It was very sweet of her.
What was the most challenging part of your part of building the Tower of Terror?
So the armor stands were a very difficult part of the building of the Tower of Terror, but I actually think the building of the physical structure of the Tower of Terror was probably the hardest, because I did that in the very, very early game. And at the time, I didn't really have anyone helping me with this project. I just basically outlined the whole thing on my own and did it entirely out of smooth sandstone, which is a little difficult in the very early game, especially when you don't have any sort of super smelter. I don't do redstone at all. And that was before Janni partnered up with me and before a lot of other things happened to make life easier.
Tell me about the 27 furnace array.
So the 27 furnace array was as low redstone as you can possibly get, because I don't do redstone. So I actually had just an array of 27 furnaces that I had to load manually and load the fuel for manually, and I was mainly using bamboo. It was a mess, smelting up goodness knows how many thousands of smooth sandstone that I was digging out of the desert. And 27 furnaces makes sense. It's the size of a small chest or a shulker, so it really smelts a whole shulker box worth of materials at once, if you load it all manually and fuel it all manually.
How did your partnership with the other guy happen?
Yes, the other guy. RailwayJanni. Yeah, so that happened as a result of a little event that got started by me and one of our other server mates named Ice Lord. So I tried to pay Ice Lord 2 diamond blocks for killing me probably 40 times for little cactus heads for Cars Land, and he refused payment. So we started a whole kindness war around this whole situation where we did a whole bunch of gifts back and forth to one another, but also brought in other server mates. And RailwayJanni was on Ice Lord's side of the war, so that means I had to give him a gift. So I sent him a message on Discord asking him what I could do for his gift. And he wrote me back saying, as your gift to me, let me come and check out your Redstone for Cars Land and give some suggestions on how to make it better. And so he did a lot of work on Cars Land as a result of that. I don't know if he knows what he was getting into, but he's ended up becoming my partner for this whole base as a whole. He's done all of the Redstone for cars and did a retrofit of the Tower of Terror. So yeah, I'm super appreciative of Janni and all that he's done to improve the rides around here, but also just the way that he's become one of my best friends. And I'm really looking forward to building Disneyland together with him on Pleasant Junction.
Take us through the ride from the time you step through the door to the very end in your own words.
When you walk up to the Tower of Terror, the first thing you'll notice are the Tower Gardens. Now, some of these around the entrance are made of armor stands. They're a bunch of leaf blocks placed on armor stands. And what you'll also notice is the centerpiece, which is the logo of the Tower of Terror, again made of armor stands, which is made out of spruce blocks lowered to the ground. And then once you enter into the doors, you'll be greeted by the lobby, which is a whole lot of armor stands. So you have, of course, the owl as the centerpiece, but also the dragon off to the side, as well as a lot of other armor stands littered about to make the chairs, a lot of other decorations like the suitcases, spider webs all over the place. There's a whole lot going on here armor stand-wise, and it was a lot of fun to work on. A lot of custom heads for things like the telephone. And also, if you go over to the check-in desk, you'll see little keys made out of tripwire hooks and maps as little tags, as if they would have a room number written on them, and also some other papers and whatnot shuffled around. If you look up in the lobby, you'll see the chandelier, which is a bunch of custom heads put together. And then if you continue down the hallway into the library, a lot of the library is decorated also with armor stands, show a bunch of papers, also a lovely globe, and the table is made out of armor stands as well. Continuing into the pre-show, we have finally some armor stands that actually look like people. Some were custom heads, some were friends of ours. One of them is Mumbo. Then as part of the pre-show, you'll see a miniature Tower of Terror. And that is probably the most difficult custom head job that I did for this project. So for that one, I'd had to not only make each block as an individual skin, but also be aware of how it would look from all sides of the block. A lot of times when I use heads for custom signs, I can just get away with one side being kind of decorated. But for this, I had to pay attention to how each head would connect to every other head in the model and make it work together. So that was a difficult one to do, but a really fun one nonetheless. Moving past the pre-show, we make our way through the boiler room. A lot of this was done by RailwayJanni, and I think it turned out very great and very spooky. And then we move into the ride itself. You enter the minecart and face forward. The minecarts will then shoot backwards. You'll be lifted up through a field of nether stars. These nether stars are spaced at different distances away from you, so it feels like you're in the midst of the stars. Once you reach the top of the section, you'll see a hallway with an elevator at the end. It is also constructed out of armor stands to help with the illusion of depth. The lights will dim, the armor stand ghosts will pop up, the lights will come back on as if the ghosts are just appearing out of nowhere, then they'll pop back down as if they were disappearing. The elevator continues upward and takes you to the 5th dimension. And in the 5th dimension, you're put into an industrial hallway that slowly fades away so that you're greeted by the imagery from the Twilight Zone show, including things like the eye, the door, and the clock. You'll continue slowly down this hallway until you are shot up by a bunch of slime block elevators and reach the top, where the cameras take a picture of you, and then you are dropped until you reach the bottom, where you get one final jump scare from the ghosts, and also from Rod Sterling, and then you are deposited back into the elevator where you started. After you exit the ride, you can see a pile of suitcases off to your left, as well as a Tower of Terror hat. Then you can continue down Iskal's favorite hallway to the gift shop. Because of course, this is Disney. It wouldn't be a Disney ride without you having to exit through the gift shop. And that is the end of the ride.
What is the best piece of Disney magic about this place?
Ooh, the best piece of Disney magic has probably got to be the redstone. To me, I don't understand most of the redstone that goes into this, but Janni has been such a huge help in getting this thing to be as Disney magic as possible. You should check out his video, where he explains all the redstone behind this crazy Tower of Terror. If you'd like to see the ride-through video, it's also over on Janni's channel, so give that a watch too. For more Disney Minecraft videos, be sure to give this video a like and hit that subscribe button. and I'll see you in the next video.